on March 23rd. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Laura Ray Anderson.
Here.
Catherine Boulay is absent. Tom Cremona.
Here.
Marilyn Crisati.
Here.
Justin Elliman.
Here.
Gary Lucerno.
Here.
George Shaw.
Here.
Gregory Stokes.
Here.
And Richard Stroini.
Here.
8 members are present, 1 is absent.
Thank you. The following notice of public hearing was published in the Journal-Inquirer on Tuesday, March 17th, 2026, and on Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. Town of Enfield Legal Notice, Charter Revision Commission. The Enfield Charter Revision Commission will hold a public hearing in the Enfield Town Hall Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, on Monday, March 23rd, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. to solicit public input on suggestions for revisions to the Enfield Town Charter. This meeting will be streamed live on YouTube. A copy of the Enfield Town Charter is available at the Town Clerk's office for public inspection or at www.enfield-ct.gov. For those unable to attend the public hearing in person, Enfield electors or taxpayers may submit written testimony stating your name and address to phcharterrevisioncomments@enfield.org by midnight on Monday, March 23rd, 2026. Dated this 13th day of March, 2026, Sheila M. Bailey, Town Clerk. Mr. Koppler, you wanted to say a few words before we?
I have nothing to say. I just wanted, first I was going to introduce myself at some point. Matt Koppler, I'm the town manager, and some of you I know, but you're just like totally on the wrong side over there. I will be attending the meetings from here on out as well to hopefully help guide you through this in any way I can and make it a lot easier process for you. Treat me as, if you have any questions, any information that you need from the town, please ask and we'll get it for you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Just in case of emergency, please exit to my front, your rear, or out the doors to your right, my left. Go down to the parking lot far enough away from the building to be safe. The ground rules for tonight's public hearing. There is no time limit, but I do ask that each person not take up too much time so that everyone will have an opportunity to speak. After each person who desires has 1 chance to speak, I shall permit those individuals who desire a second chance. After those individuals who desire to speak a second time, I shall permit those individuals who desire a third, fourth, etc. time to speak. Please refrain from personalities and understand that we cannot engage in conversation. This is to take public input only. And with that, if you have not yet signed up to speak, please do so to Sheila's right, your left, and I will call up, is it Christina Lang? When you come up, please state your name and address for the record.
And hit the button. Hi, am I on? Am I on now? Okay, thank you. My name's Christina Lang. I live at 90 South Road, Enfield. And I'm back again. Last year, I'm one of only 2, sometimes 3, rarely 4, residents who showed up at all of the deliberations of the previous commission. I have only 3 at this point, adamant pearls of wisdom for you, which I suspect you have discussed among yourselves, but here it is, having lived through one iteration. Number 1, don't wait to be pushed into video recording your deliberations. Last time we had to do some urging and finally got it on YouTube on the city site, and I think you need to do that. Skidco room or this room, wherever you can do it, do it. Because, of course, with only 2 people in the room, there were times when nobody in town knew what it was like, what what the members of the commission were doing. And that's really critical to be able to see. Number two, given all the staff time and volunteer energy and effort and experience that went into those many, I don't know, it was a dozen meetings, they seemed like they went down the drain when we all and the public decided we were getting to the vote on it, and we voted it down. So that's a lot to lose. Why don't we not do that again? Why don't we take some of the mundane, minor, housekeeping type amendments, there were many necessary types, and put them in Group A to vote on. Figure out how to then have a Group B, which are those cute ones, the political hot potato ones, the consequential items, I guess is the nice term for it. The ones that got the public to probably vote no last time. But that's just my thinking. Figure out how to split it up so the basic stuff that really is only updating the charter and not really changing directions can get voted in, and the ones that really cause some concern and thought might have a chance to get, play. And in that regard, last, please educate the voters in advance. Not just put the videotape on, and that you really should do every time you meet. It's not that bad. You can do it. Simply put the amended version of the charter up on the city website promptly from time to time and indicate in big red letters at the top, this is a working copy only. And have it dated so that when you have stuff, people can look at it more than once a few days before they vote. Don't do that. Don't do that. Otherwise, people do knee-jerk voting or just listen to their neighbors, and that's not how you want us to do, because you don't want to waste your effort and watch it just go down the tubes. That's all I wanted to say. I enjoyed being there before in some ways. And I look forward to seeing what you guys get to do with it. And I think the public needs to see all of this while you work. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Patrick Thibodeau.
Hi, Patrick Thibodeau, 20 Cora Street. Thank you for being on the commission. I want to key off what the town manager just said. He said he's available to offer you research. He's available to answer your questions. Use it. I watched and attended the last Charter Revision Commission, and one of the things that I found frustrating through that whole process is that very interesting questions came up, but people just made quick decisions from their chair about how they felt about it, the same way you might in a discussion with somebody at your dinner table. And they just immediately say either dismissed it or supported it, but they didn't look at, is there some merit to this idea, or is there something we should be considering, even if they didn't support it? Had this been in play, say, when the referendum issue was up, one of the things that surprised me is nobody asked about what are the risks if we do this? Will it have any impact on our bond rating, for instance? Could it? What scenarios could come into play that can completely undermine our budgeting process if we put in this referendum? Nobody asked those questions to any great degree, but what they didn't do is, aside from one meeting with the town manager, they didn't follow up and ask for research. So in other words, here's a for instance. Somebody brought up the idea of paying, offering a stipend to council members, right? I personally think that's not a bad idea. Frankly, we elect these people to be on the council, and we ask a god-awful amount of them in terms of time and effort, and it's, you know, missed meals, eating out, things like that. And to provide a stipend of $2,000, $3,000, some modest amount of money a year, to me, would make a lot of sense. And it would be a way of the community saying, thank you for taking time out of your lives to take my call in the middle of the night about the stop sign and people running it on my street all the time, or for making all these meetings and making sure our government runs well. But that's treated, when that issue came up at the charter, it was dismissed within a nanosecond, because the very idea of offering any money, you know, just a flat fee, to the council was treated as a third rail in Enfield politics. But, you know, there's a degree of hypocrisy here. The same people are going to tell you that you shouldn't be paying the council are going to be the same people going up to them and saying, will you buy this raffle ticket? Will you make this donation? Will you attend this dinner? You know, so they're going to be hitting them up for money and time and things like that. And I think it's only fair that we do this. But it also may attract people who, at this point, don't want anything to do with the council, because it's going to be a complete money sink for them. It's just going to take away time from their family and time where they can earn extra income to be involved in something that is just going to be crushing on their personal life. I don't see anything wrong with that, and I think a lot of people in this community would support something like that. But here's where the research issue comes up, right? So even if you felt in your gut that this is the third rail, that if we do this, whoever votes this is going to lose the election, right? Even if you felt that, the next question you should have asked is, what other towns do this, right? And all you have to do is go to the town manager and say, can you tell us, say, within the 20 towns closest to our population, how many actually provide a stipend or pay or whatever they call it to their council or their selectmen, whoever? And if you had gotten that information, you might have reached a different conclusion about whether to support something like this. And now, I'm not going to tell you, I only did some cursory research, but it's not an exception for people in that position to get some remuneration for the time they spend it. That's all I'll say on that point. So if you're interested in something like that, go ahead and do it. Look into it. It's not a bad idea. So there were a couple of items on the last charter which absolutely deserve to be included in this one. One was requiring that vacancies be filled by council members of the same party, right? So we need to take, this is the easiest and simplest way to take a huge amount of bitterness out of the whole political process. Just let the minority party fill its own vacancy. We get enough vacancies, it almost happens once every term that somebody leaves for whatever reason. And the minority party should be able to fill that position without interference from the majority party. If the majority party decides it's going to play traffic cop on that, it just loads the system in with a lot of bitterness that just perpetuates election after election after election. You could put a stop to that. A second thing is formalize the position of minority leader. We recognize a mayor and we recognize a deputy mayor in our charter, but we don't recognize the position of minority leader. I think that's needed. I think it shows respect for the minority party, and I think it clears the lines of communication, and I think it might, you know, foster some bipartisanship by creating a steady negotiation partner on leadership matters and on you know, agenda items and things like that, where the leadership plays a role. So I think, you know, there were some very good things. There were a number of things within the previous charter that deserve to just be put back into this question. One was the elimination of some of the requirements, education and otherwise, for some of the positions in the town. In business, you just don't see that kind of. For some jobs, you do. If someone wants to be a medical doctor, of course you're going to see a lot of specific. But businesses like to give themselves a high degree of flexibility about who they hire, and I think we deserve to do that as well in our town. And I think eliminating those things won't hurt us at all. So I I guess that's basically what I wanted to say. So I wish you well in your job there, what you're going to do. Good luck.
Thank you, Patrick. Anyone else wishing to come and speak? Last call for anyone else wishing to come forward and speak to the commission. Okay. Sensing none, we're not closing it because they have until midnight to submit anything through email, so we simply adjourn at this point. Correct, Sheila? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Thank you very much.